Namaste to all viewers across the world and welcome to today's special webinar in the series India Now and India Here, organized by Reach India with Dr. Gaurav Pradhan. Reach India stands for Race, Ethnicity and Cultural Heritage with the primary aim to promote the unification of India's culture and heritage. Our
It's
objective
not
is to
live on YouTube right now.
Yes. No, YouTube is not live. We can't see.
Namaste to all viewers across the
Okay,
world
fine.
and welcome to
It's
today's special webinar in the series India Now and India Here, organized by Reach India with Dr. Gaurav Pradhan. Reach India stands for Race, Ethnicity and Cultural Heritage with the primary aim to promote the unification of India's culture and heritage. Our objective
It's not
is
live on YouTube right now.
Our objective is to strengthen India's global image in our communities across the globe and to raise awareness on culture and history by actively checking and challenging any inaccurate information. We are committed to bring about a positive change by uniting like-minded nationalists across the world. During this global pandemic, REACH members around the world are actively involved in various initiatives in their own communities, including organizing various online education sessions and informative webinars with well-known personalities. During the last months, REACH has actively campaigned against so-called Khalistani activists to expose their false narrative and their violent behavior against peaceful Indian protesters. Tweets and data provided by Reach was used by HCI in Canada to lodge protest against so-called Khalistani activists with Canadian government and police, resulting in action being initiated. Reach has also started a weekly YouTube program called Reaching Out with Reach, giving information and stories normally not covered by mainstream media. In today's webinar, we will hear our esteemed guest Dr. Gaurav Pradhan on future of social media and tech giants in India. Now I request Abhi to introduce our esteemed guest in the webinar.
Thank you, Venkat, for the introduction of our global ecosystem called Reach India. And thanks to all our audience from across the globe who has joined us on Reach India TV on YouTube. A warm namaste to all of you. Now, a brief introduction of our esteemed guest for the day, Dr. Pradhanji, who needs no special introduction. Dr. Pradhan has been awarded as top 10 global social CIO, advisor, digital strategist, data scientist, and a professional speaker. He has his own blog where he has delved into myriad of subjects from blockchain technology, Indian real estate, politics, and the environment. Dr. Pradhan rose to fame during 2013 and is a living example of how one can achieve anything if one has a will. With tens and thousands of followers and his social media impressions touching 50 million plus, he's using the medium to garner support for issues close to his heart. An NRI, he has immense love for his nation and is always open to do good for the country. Dr. Pradhan plans to bring a data revolution in the country and wants to make India self-reliant in tech space. His immense ground knowledge on politics in India is next to none. We are all aware of his predictive analytic skills and how he correctly predicted the outcome of 2014 and 2019 general elections, US elections, and the UP Assembly election in 2017. An IT geek, he was also a part of the team that invented the SMS. He has taken several initiatives, broke a racket of fake voters by cancelling 90,000 voter IDs in Uttar Pradesh. He has contributed immensely to the Chai Pe Charcha campaign in the run-up to the 2014 elections. And now, without further ado, I will hand over to our esteemed guest, Dr. Pradhan, who's going to talk to us about today's topic, future of tech and social media giants in India. Dr. Pradhan, please share with us your views on this topic. It's an honor and privilege to have you here, sir. Thank you so much.
Namaste to all the people around the world who are watching. I think there are guys from Canada, US, London, of course, India and Australia too. So I welcome all. Uh, uh, Abhi, you know what the problem is that I don't know how where to start because social media is a very vast subject. You know, it is like a multi-dimensional spider web. So somewhere it works better for politicians, it doesn't work for business. Somewhere it works good for personal than to be an influencer. So ask me one question at least where I can start from, and that would be the much better way to start.
Sure, sir. No, not a problem. Let's do that way. So we can start with like you had once said that world will be ruled by nationalists, and in particular four nationalists: Narendra Modi ji, Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, and Benjamin Netanyahu. Given the change in the U.S. president, how you see this equation changing, sir?
Well, your question is more on geopolitics than social media. So if I elaborate on that, it would divert us. It will take a detour from social media to somewhere else in geopolitics. But just to answer your question, because I think with the question comes the curiosity of people. Yes, I said that it would be ruled by four nationalists. Trump had been a victim of, playing a cricket on a front foot. So he was playing. When you play on a front foot, the chances of getting stumped is very easily. I mean, if you see the guys who hit sixes and fours, they play on front foot and they get out very easily. They get stumped. Trump got stumped. Whereas Modi, if you see, he plays on a back foot, guiding his stump. So the chances of him getting stump is absolutely very less, and he take care of it. So Modi is a Tendulkar, while Trump was playing like a Dhoni.
Sure, sir. Sure. So your prediction that Twitter, WhatsApp, and Facebook would be almost non-existent in India by end of 2022. What's the basis of this analysis? Let's start with this so the social media angle can be brought into
Okay.
play.
See, when the social media started in year 2006 with Facebook and later followed by Twitter, which came on there, it was still a very initial platform. The algorithms were not there. But over a period of time, both the Twitter and Facebook, especially their owners, I mean, not just Twitter, Facebook, even the YouTube, which is run by Google, the mentality of the board of directors of those company is very left leaning. So, when the power started coming in your hand, the power of people and creating the perception and narrative, you get intoxicated with the power. So you were no more a technology platform, which it should have been in a real term. They should have been just a technology platform, but they starting becoming a judge. And when you start becoming a judge, everybody has a bias toward right or left or center, wherever it is. But the moment you start putting your bias through the people, right, the downfall starts. So I don't know what wrong Trump has said. I don't find anything so wrong about it, but probably they were waiting for an opportunity to get him off because he was carrying about 88 million followers on Twitter, so that was a very large number to influence. They were just waiting for an opportunity. But the moment they went out, the California based tech companies and Philadelphia or New York based tech companies, the split start coming in. And that was a vertical split. So if you see today, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google, they are facing the vertical split. Whereas if you see the other side, non-California based companies like Gab, I am on Gab, right? Now, Gab is a very Catholic, hardcore Orthodox Catholic Christian guy who runs Andrew. Andrew is a good friend of mine. I mean, we have been speaking quite often. So he's a Catholic guy, but he is not blocking my handle for talking about Hinduism. Because at the end of the day, it is a technology platform. Your job, if I am running a platform, I have only two rules to follow. First, technology wise, it is brilliant. It is updated all the time. It is secure. And on the law enforcement side, where rights can be created or disharmony in the society can be created, I should have followed a very simple rule. Anything which comes to me in writing from law enforcement, I will block that account. So tomorrow, let's say if you are writing something which is against the society or a nation, and a law enforcement agency write to me that listen, you have to block Abhi because he is creating a problem, then I have nothing. I mean, a law enforcement agency, when I say, I mean the court also. So any written order from law enforcement agency or the court, when it comes to me, I should have blocked that account. But I should have not blocked the account just because I don't like his way of talking or I don't like his content. That is absolutely wrong. So a vertical split has been created. If you see, after Trump is the turning point. After Trump, there are millions of people who went to Gap, they went to Signal, they went to Telegram, and that is also the reason why the app in India is picking up quite fast. Having said that, having said that, the future is very decentralized now. Now it has gone out of hands of two technology companies to many companies and open up the doors for new entrepreneurs. So the kind of the Chaudrahat of Twitter or Facebook, I hope you understand what I mean by Chaudrahat, Chaudhary kind of thing, you become the Danda owner. That thing has gone. Now people will interact on multiple platforms. In fact, if you see my strategy now, I do a parallel posting on 4 platforms. I use Coup for short one, but because I write at least 500 characters at a time, I put on Gap, I put on Twitter, I put on Facebook, and then on Telegram. So that my combined audience today, the combined impression, unique impression on all these platforms is 10 times today more than what I used to be on Twitter. Because on Twitter I have not written anything. I People who know me very well for a long time understand that I don't write about Hindu Muslim, I don't write about casteism, I don't use foul language, I don't misbehave with ladies or females or step my foot on the feminism rubbish. uh, but they blocked me. And the reason they blocked me because I was writing about Pakistan. And I was the one guy who was writing about BJP also. So my blocking was done by the IT minister himself. So that's fine. That's fine. You can hide a sun with few clouds for few hours, but you cannot just stop sun from rising every day.
Yeah, yeah, sir. So next question, I think what we would like to ask from you would be that tech giants have affected US elections outcome. What would be their impact, if any, in the 2024 India general elections?
Well, I think, as I said, when a batsman get out on a front, playing on a front foot, the rest of the team become very cautious. So the Trump departure is a lesson to India that how the tech companies are going to play. This was the vertical split which started happening now, and because of that, there are many applications now coming up. Whether it is people using WhatsApp very heavily, but WhatsApp still is a garbage. I think most important is the Telegram and Signal people are using, and people are going on Gap. So that is one thing. But understand, Indian elections are not American elections. The total American population is just 300 million, right? Where India, you have 1.5 billion people. Even if 70% vote, you have 80% farmers. Farmers are not on Twitter. They might be on Facebook. Twitter controls 1.5 crore handles in India, whereas Facebook has 45 crore handle in India. But the best part of social media is if you say anything, it is proven wrong in no time, right? It gets busted in no time. Abhi, you can put take off the flag from your bag because it has fallen. Doesn't look nice.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, sir. Apologies. Yeah.
No problem. Just keep it safe. So the impact of social media. The days are gone. I give you an example. I give you an example which I have not talked about till date or not spoken in detail till date or written about it. Do you know when Narendra Modi decided to become the Prime Minister of India? All of you will answer September 2013 when he was nominated as the candidate from Prime Ministership, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's wrong. But that is exactly what is wrong. That is a formality. Narendra Modi decided to lead the country in 2009 when LK Advani chose Sanjay Joshi over Narendra Modi to lead the 2009 campaign. Now, that time, Narendra Modi knows it very well that he is a man who is bashed by every political party, every media in India and overseas, everyone. His core team is the only team which knows him. Even his own party was not in favor of. So he need to bridge a gap. Now, how do you communicate with people? Because you have a barrier called Indian media, which doesn't want to give you rightful space. They doesn't want to talk anything positive about you. They don't want to talk about the work you do. So you have to tell your work to the people. That is the time when 3 years before the social media started, and Narendra Modi picked it up very fast and he started interacting with people directly. My handle of Twitter and Modi ji's Twitter handle were created on the same day. Right. So there is a story behind it, which later sometime I talk about. But social media was the bandwagon or the vehicle which was used to take your message across. Once 2014 election happened, now why it was necessary? You know the data charges in India was about 250 rupees per GB or 5 GB, whatever was, right? It was very expensive. Rural India was not able to afford it. The rich or the people in office mostly. So there were two kind of middle class: a rich middle class and a middle kind of middle class. So the middle kind of middle class used to work in offices. They use their office internet to hook on social media, and the upper middle class has the social media at their homes, right, or on their phones at an expensive rate. So Modi ji used the middle class through social media to tell the world what he has done and what he can do, and can India be rest assured under his leadership. So a euphoria was created and everybody starts seeing Modi ji as the next Prime Minister of India. When he came down as a prime minister, the first thing he did was lower the cost of internet in India so that the social media can reach to the last mile reachability in a village. Right. He still bypassed the media, mainstream media, because he has no hope from mainstream media. So all the people in mainstream media who were celebrity journalists, who were the people who were powerful enough to appoint ministers and governments and policies and all those things, what are their life today? They can't get a bottle of whiskey free of cost. Everything is stopped. Their life is miserable today. And Modi ji used the social media to reach to the masses. Now, once the masses are reached, saying is one thing, but delivering is secondary. So he ensured that whatever he says, he deliver. Now, when you go in the B category city, C category city, or rural area, the Indian mentality is if you do something good for a person, at least two generation remember that. Right. Now, because of that, Modi ji got a massive mandate. The student, by reducing the cost of internet, the student community, the youth community, which has just a small pocket money, now can hook on internet and see. But having said that, with all the positivity around, came the garbage also. Now, if you see YouTube, there are thousands of channels who are classify themselves as a news channel, but they can't pronounce a word properly. So, and there are people who have been become celebrities by by uh, by the propaganda of fake news, because we like propaganda, because we like uh, controversies. We don't like to listen to the truth. So these things have spread. To give you an analogy, I'm sure all of you have eaten mangoes, right? Am I right? Now those small mangoes, which you don't cut but squeeze it in your mouth. Correct. You all have. So Modi ji used that mango, the ripe mango, and he has excused and enjoyed the mango and left the leftover. Now the other parties are investing on that leftover to get the benefit. But the pulp is already gone. So now the social media is completely and very clearly divided between two, that is pro Modi and anti Modi. So when social media is divided and it is loud and clear, I mean, you tell me Gaurav Pradhan will change, become an anti Modi tomorrow. I don't think it is going to happen in this life, right? I may not be a BJP supporter, but I am definitely a rock behind Modi, to be honest. So, 2024 election, social media would be used to spread a message, and people understand now. By another 3 years, they will be more they will understand it more, that what is the right information, what is the wrong information. But social media is not going to play a major role in 2024 election. 2024 election would be primarily won by two communities, that is the Faujis and the farmers. The farmer law which just came in, no matter what politician talk about, the opposition talk about, if you go in a village, I have traveled in the last month, I traveled couple of villages and I do my own surveys of my own travel. There is not a single farmer I ever met who said these laws are bad. And if you think farmers are illiterate community, don't understand, I can tell you that they are the smartest community. They may not have a BTech, IIT, or IIM degrees. They may not be graduates from Harvard or Oxford, but they know what they are getting and what they are losing loud and clear. So 2024 election is like 2019. I said in 2017 that 2019 election would be a walkover. 2024 election, there would be no opposition whatsoever. Right. So social media today is more like I'm just continuing your after your question, I'm just continuing explaining the social media. Right. So politics is one side of the social media. The other two side of the social media is business and your personal. Now, on personal, it will continue as it is, because we connect families, we connect friends on Facebook or share videos on YouTube or make it personal videos and maybe on Twitter community also. But the political community is done and dusted now. Business and personal will continue in a soft way. But before that, you need to understand, which most of the strategists doesn't understand, and especially the BJP IT cell doesn't understand the social media totally. Twitter is about perception. In 280 characters, how do I create a narrative is all what Twitter do. Twitter is not for a research based subject. Then you come to Facebook, which is more about articles, about sharing multiple photographs in the same post, the complete album. So you can write in detail. So you can write an analysis, you can write an explanation, you can write in detail 3,000, 4,000 words, and also attach your album. So it make it a very, very rich medium, so you can really crack the narrative there. And because the outreach in India, people are spread. Facebook is close to 45 crore penetration. It is far bigger medium than Twitter or Coup or whatever it is. They will never be able to meet Facebook. But having said that, the WhatsApp and the telegrams are picking up very fast. In fact, WhatsApp is number one. I think WhatsApp has around 66 or 68 crores penetration in India. Telegram is still picking up. It will remain in the urban sector, Telegram and Signal, but WhatsApp will go in the public domain, in the rural area and all. So 2024 election would be more on WhatsApp. Also, WhatsApp serve the business purpose. WhatsApp serve for personal broadcasting. WhatsApp serve the personal groups. Like Facebook. You all are connected on my Facebook, right? But that's my public account, right? Where you can follow. I don't hide anything. Everything I put is in public platform. Is for public viewing. All my photographs, everything. But there is another Facebook account which I have, which is purely personal. And for the last, I think I opened that account in 2008 or 2007 or 8 sometime. Since then, till date, it only had 80 friends. Because everything there is only for my friends, not even for my friends of friend. It is only for my friends. So it is a very close group. And who are there? My family, my wife, my parents, my in-laws, my childhood friend, not professional friend, my only childhood friends. These are the people make the community of 80 people. So when you talk about social media, we need to be intelligent enough. We do. I mean, and again, understand one thing which I just want to point out, a very important factor here. There are many people, like for example, I take Twitter handle or even Facebook. You will find many people who have 500,000 follower, a million follower, right, and maybe 2 million follower. But understand, they are, you may have a lot of followers, but the point is, do you have the credibility? Because most of these so-called Twitter celebrities, overnight celebrities, and it is across party line, so it is not just limited to right wing. You have a left wing, central, all kind of wings are there. The biggest problem is they are intoxicated with the number of followers. See, number of followers doesn't mean you have a fame. Number of followers doesn't is not directly proportional to the credibility. When my Twitter handle was suspended, I had only about, I think, 210,000 followers, 2,10,000 followers, right? But my reach was 900 million in 20 days. The post impression, the unique impression on post, on all the posts calculated on 28 days basis was 900 million, which was the highest from the even from the most of the ministers. Because why it was highest? It was highest because the people have that credibility. I'm not reacting to a politician what he said. I'm not cracking jokes on Mamta Banerjee. I'm not cracking jokes on Modi. But what I am saying is a perception that if Mamta has broken the leg, this is an indication and an analysis is there. This is the indication that election is losing. Right? So you give a analysis. So I give everything to my followers to understand, to apply their own mind. Yes, there are few, sorry to say, but I call them jokers. Uh, you know, who thinks that every time they will come and on a drop of a hat on any post they can ask me anything unrelated to that post. I literally, I mean, there was a whole analysis on Mamta Banerjee I posted about a day or two back, and today people are asking, sir, what is the outcome of her fracture of leg? I mean, come on, guys, scroll down the TL, So you know what? Number of followers. I think all of you who are following here on this channel want to be some credible name. To become a credible name, you have to build a credibility. And first thing of credibility is don't ask people to follow you. Somebody says, you follow me, I'll follow you back. 100% follow back guarantee. Follow back assured. I mean, what are you selling? Buy one, get one free?
So
That
true.
is wrong. People may have 50,000. I know people who have 58,000, 60,000 followers. If you see their post, even a good post, you will not find more than 50 RTs or 40 RTs. And even if I put a joke on my Telegram, I get 10,000 readership. Because people know one thing very clear that Gaurav Pradhan has no time for jokes or sharing. When I write something, it has a meaning. May not be for masses, maybe for a segment who works with me, maybe for some law enforcement guys, maybe for some security guys, maybe for some politician, but there is a message which is conveyed. So that is the credibility you build over a period of time. You have another Twitter handle, a very famous Twitter handle. I'm not going to name it. You understand. This gentleman has got close to about, in plus side, about 10 million followers. And this man gets less than 300 artists because he believed getting 10 million followers is a ticket to become the prime minister or the finance minister of the country. I'm sorry, you cannot. That means Rihanna has 100 million followers. She can be the United Nations chief. She can't, right? So all these things on just before I close my comment, on a technical side, Twitter lost the credibility because of bots and fake accounts.
Mm, mm,
Twitter thought it very well that there is no harm to have the fake accounts. We will have more celebrities. We will give celebrities 44, 50 million followers, with all the fake IDs and accounts, handles, and it will increase the transactional communication, which will eventually result in more revenue from the ad business. That is what they thought. But in yes, they may have got some more business or revenue from their ad business, but at the end of the day, they literally caused a credibility crisis. And after Trump, it was like the branch was bent over a period of time, but after blocking Trump, they literally cut out the branch. So now that is the reason why I said there is a vertical split in social media in California versus rest of the world countries. And you another coming days you will see. But social media time is literally over when it comes to politics.
Thank you, sir. And this is amazing advice. We'll try to, utilize this for use Reach India as well, and quality over quantity, like always, as you suggested. So one question which flows from this is that the leftist and the Soros-funded media has been trying to malign India's image internationally. You think this will affect the investment in India?
No, investment is not going to affect, because when the business goes by the government policies, right? I mean, Soros and his cabal, the mafia, is trying for a very long time to dent Narendra Modi. But if you see, even during the Corona period, where everything was shut down and everybody in the world was doubting the leadership of Modi, and India will have a mayhem, and we will have close to about half a billion people suffering from Corona and quarter billion people dying. Nothing happened. So the world community, the world business community always works for money. They are not worried about your religious identity, your religious inclination, your nationalism. Wherever they see two penny gain, they will go and invest. So investing in India will not be affected no matter what Soros do. And Soros himself cannot stop it, because he runs a lot of companies, a chain of companies in FMCG to food products to everything. And he knows India is the biggest market as well as the producer and an emerging giant. So he will not cut down his dollars by demotivating people not to come to India.
Sure, sir. Sure. Sir, one more question. Until when do you think PM Modi will be at the helm of affairs, and the handover to the next leader will start at some point, and which leader would it be?
Well, I am not Prime Minister advisor or a friend of his. I have never met the Prime Minister ever in my life, so I cannot comment on what goes in his mind. Right. But just to understand him, he was a chief minister, he is the prime minister. So the next logical post which is due for him is the president of India. Now, the president election will happen in 2022. 2022 is also the time for 75th India's birth, right? Post independence, right? Not birth, birth is the wrong word, but post independence, India, इससे पहले तो भारत था ना. So India was 75, India at 75. So logical was that at 75 he puts down his paper, go as a president, appoint somebody. But I think there are few things which are still not cooked as per the plan, which should have been faster, because due to certain reasons it delayed, especially the corona and some politics. I think he will continue till about 2027, the next milestone. Right, and by that time, his rule for 75 would also be coming to in play. I know people of India, even me, doesn't want him to go. Even at 75, I want him to, God bless him, with 100 years, I want him to be, because he can really change India. But I think another 5 year, I mean, after completing 2024, from 2022 to 2027, these 5 years would be very, very critical for India. I mean, India would really be the one, it would be a submarine which is right now sailing under the sea, and it will come on shore in 2027 for everyone to see. So that would be the best time when he can switch over.
Sure, sir.
And the question about who would be the next, I think there are many names moving around. I don't want to speculate on that. Neither I'm going to put a finger on somebody, because in BJP the grooming exercise is going on. People consider one chief minister to be the next logical prime minister. Well, that's emotional call. Yes, I even emotionally I agree, but running a office of prime minister and running a office of chief minister are two very different thing. You are driving a Maruti 800 and you are driving a 12 cylinder double supercharged race car. So, these are two different things to talk about. Let's see. I think we should celebrate that Modi ji is the prime minister right now. We should pray that he serve the nation for as long as he can or as long as he want, and rest our faith in him that whomsoever he and his leaders will bring in would be equally good and will work for the nation. That is the most important thing. Name doesn't matter.
Sure, sure, sir. Sir, we are all a fan of your predictive analysis, and one term is like, can you give an idea to our viewers about mood analytics, how it works to make the right predictions, and how accurately it can help to predict, basically?
See, mood analytics is not a technical term. It is not written in any technical book across the world. It was innovated by me. And the way, and probably I am the only one on the planet who used the term mood analytics. And see, what happened is when we talk about analytics, you know what it is, correct? So I don't have to explain. But mood analytics is about politics, it is about perception. When politics is perception, what is the mood of people? Now to gauge the now if I go to Kolkata today, right, to gauge the mood of people, yes, the mood is camouflaged. Yes, the mood is adulterated right now because many don't want to open up. But 2 years back, when I went to Calcutta and I moved down on the street and I spoke to people, there was no signal of elections coming soon. Didi was doing fantastically well for some, for others it was not. That time when you gauge the mood, you get the raw sense what is going to happen. So while most, not just the most, every single channel today do exit poll and they are moving out and doing debate, all these places, they are actually not serving the real story. If you really want to understand, I am using the Bengal election because the election is there and it is very hyped election. If you sitting on my desk, I mean, I sit on my desk for almost 20 hours a day, and of course, I have a lot of work to do. Social media is just a time pass. Wherever I get, I pop up the screen and write something. But if I have to understand that mood of people in West Bengal, I have two options. Either I go personally, move around in the society, just watch people. I am not asking people. I am watching people. Second is I watch certain YouTube channels which are amateur channels, right? These are started by youngsters. They want to make a dent in their life. They want to become a channel, proper channel on YouTube. Want to get so many followers. So their meeting people, their interviews of people are absolutely raw in nature. And the person who is giving the interview also knows that the person is standing in front of me is another an idiot, and he's not a celebrity anchor, so I don't have to pose anything. जो मन में है वो बोल दो, जो जो सच है वो बोल दो. From there you get captured the mood. So you design a 10-point scale and you start rating them on a 10-point scale. And then you see the analytical graph, which side it is swinging. So I, as a person, don't watch any media, TV media, or any big YouTube channel, and I have not watched it for last 11 years. I don't. My TVs are never switched on. I am never. You will never find me in front of TV anywhere. I cannot sit for more than 1 minute in front of a TV. I get some BP issue, right, which the channel want to create. I just quietly watch people what they are doing, and then I use my intelligence to plot it. And maybe because I have a gift from Mahadev, that I can sense things very easily. I can calculate the what is going to happen very easily. with just one liner. So today, when I was watching, I think in Calcutta there is a tsunami which is moving under the sea, and on 2nd May this tsunami will be visible, right? And it is going the UP way right now, because the turning point for West Bengal is the triple talaq. It is the non-celebrity Muslims who are openly talking about it. Understand one thing, like UP and Bihar elections are always related to each other. Similarly, Assam and Bengal elections are related to each other. The the problem of infiltration from illegal infiltration from Bangladesh is massive in Calcutta as well as in Assam, in West Bengal as well as in Assam, and this is among Muslim communities. So these Indian Muslims feel cheated when these illegal people are appeasement politics is used by the politician to appease these illegal people. Then these native Muslims start feeling cheated, and that is going to turn around the election in a massive way. I hope I'm right. It is the submarine which is moving under the sea. 2nd of May, it will come on surface, and you'll see the sheer power of it.
Sure, sir, sure. So, next question. How do you see the Lutyens in the next 3 to 4 years? Will it eventually fold up the shop or become even more aggressive against nationalist government?
They are dead. This community is dead. Don't even waste time on them. They have no credibility. As I said, credibility is the very important thing, right? Uh, Because of the social media. See, when you are on a TV or a print media, you are talking about one-way direction. You are talking and people are listening, but on social media I can counter you with a question. So for example, there is a very celebrated journalist who used to appoint ministers, and she was one of the so-called finest journalists to cover an active war. But because of the social media, the facts started coming out that she was responsible for death of 5 of my soldiers and a JCO, and she was the one who spent a night with a army officer in his tent, and the next day the officer was killed. So the bedroom stories doesn't hide much. With social media, these all come out. I mean, I can tell you about everyone. I have information about everyone. We have a file for every single guy, right from room number to timings to partners to videos to everything. It is just that I cannot share that videos on social media platform. And I still need to behave like a good guy, though I'm not a good guy by any way. I'm a very ugly man and a very shrewd and a very dangerous man. So, but social media, I have to project that I am a good guy, so I don't post all these things. So,
Sure, sir.
Lutyens is not going to be a success now. It is going to be dead. It is going to be a part of the society, but not the one who dictate the society.
Sir, you spoke about war, and one thing is, you think is China losing or winning the fake propaganda war?
China, see, China was made a dragon, a very powerful dragon, by the media itself. See, when the Galwan thing happened, and when the Indian army was able to push back China to whatever the distance they are, right? I don't go into I'm not a soldier, so I cannot define those finger 4, 5, 6, 7 like the politician do. But any movement backward by the China with a might of their force is an indication that India has evolved from the fear of 1962 war. The biggest catch for India, the biggest gain for India is that we are out of that fear which was created in 1962 for wrong reasons, because the prime minister didn't support it, we didn't have the equipment, we were half prepared. We were not even having proper shoes in a snow. So how we are going to fight? But that fear was settling in for last so many years with us. And every time media and the government in India hammered the forces and said, no, you are inferior. You should be afraid of Chinese. But after pushing back Chinese in Galwan, the best takeaway for me is the coming out of that fear, and that is massive. So today, if you ask a soldier, he is not even worried about China. We can take China anytime. China is a paper tiger. China is nothing more than it is a dragon made by the media, by the politician. China has no value. There is a huge amount of dissent in Chinese army, because understand, Chinese army or Chinese military is a part of Communist Party of China, right? They don't have a independent military like the India, like US, like any other developed or developing nations or a democracies. China has a military which is a part of, like Congress has Sevadal or BJP has RSS. So tomorrow RSS takes over, it will become a BJP military. No, it is not going to happen. So our military is independent, whereas Chinese military is part of the political party. And there is a huge dissent. They don't want to fight India, beat any weapon whatsoever. And understand, China only achievement in the world is reverse engineering. You give them something, they will do the reverse engineering and create it. Like you give them the damaged stealth helicopter, which crashed in Quetta, where Osama bin Laden was captured the night. Right, the U.S. Marine burned that helicopter, but Chinese guys came the next day and they took away the burned part of that chopper. They did a reverse engineering for a few years and they came up with a stealth fighter jet. So when you do a reverse engineering, when you do a reverse engineering for car or any product, you are just a copy expert. You are not a creator. And when you are not a creator, the courage doesn't come in copying. The courage is not directly proportional to copying. So China is going to face a lot of problems in coming time, and India is the only country which can prevent China from growing further and is stopping China where it is.
Sure, sir. Sure. So another question, I think it flows from this, is how do you see the geopolitical scenario changing in India as India adopts a stern posture via the Quad, which is it is joining with respect to Pakistan also, sir?
Sorry, with
The
what I just lost your voice.
geopolitical scenario changing in India as India adopts a stern posture vis-a-vis Quad, and also with respect to Pakistan.
See, Pakistan is not a threat. Let me put this way: the way the global community or the media or the politicians have created China as a dragon, a paper tiger, the same way they created Pakistan as a threat. Pakistan is not a sovereign nation. Understand this loud and clear. Pakistan, after becoming a country, they were the keeps of British. Then they became the keep of Russian for a very short duration in 1979 when Russia invaded Afghanistan. To counter Russia in Afghanistan, Pakistan became the keep of US. And now Pakistan is totally a one-sided keep of China. So Pakistan is not a nation. I mean, don't disregard the respectable nations in the world by calling Pakistan as a nation. It is just a supari killer. You give them some money and they will dance naked on the street. They can do anything for money. That is what exactly they do. So India role in over a period of time is going to be the podium position, as I have been talking about. A weak US president like Biden is the perfect time when India, because see, Trump has taken India from a laboratory to the launching pad, right? He hold the hand and took India from the place where the spacecraft are made, right? The lab, the workshop, and then you transport them to the launching pad. So Trump role was take India from the workshop to the launching pad. Now India will light itself and will launch. The weak Biden is a very good thing for India. In India, will have now when you talk about Quad. Now there is one politician in India who has 10 million followers who want to be the finance minister of this country, or the prime minister rather. And why prime minister? I mean the entire government he can run off his own. He don't need any minister. This man says India got to choose between Quad or BRICS. The point is, if you take out India from Quad or BRICS, the Quad and BRICS will fall down. It will have no relevance. Right? BRICS is all about, if you see BRICS, it is about 5 continents. You cover South America, you cover, continents which are low profile. You cover Africa, you cover India, you cover China, Russia. Correct. The Russia, India are already friends. China cannot be friend with Russia for a one simple reason. Russia was a communist nation and Chinese is a communist nation. The Chinese cannot afford to have another communist nation anywhere which can challenge them. So you take India is a growing factor. If you take out India from BRICS or Quad, the group will fall. So India is now on a global platform. India is evolved itself from a begging bowl to one who can feed many bowls together. I mean, Corona was a blessing for India, to be honest. I mean, I have my sympathies for everyone who lost their near and dear ones in Corona. This should not have happened, and I have pain for it. But at the same time, if I think politically, if I think strategically as a professional, I think Corona was one of the best time India ever had, a God gifted time to evolve itself, change the cloth, and come out as a leader. And it has done it so well because leadership only performs under pressure. And then this was the best time to perform under pressure, where you have the whole control of every single the hook of the administration. So India is blessed to have Corona.
Sure, sir. That's very interesting. Very interesting. Sir, I want to thank all our viewers from across the globe who are just watching you, listening to you, and sending us with many, many questions. I want to take one question from Mr. Rajesh Shukla from YouTube. He has given us a question that nepotism in Indian politics from Congress to Shiv Sena, the worrying decline of the opposition.
Sorry, come again. I lost the voice. Come again.
Sir, nepotism in Indian politics from Congress to Shiv Sena, the worrying decline of opposition. This is coming from Mr. Rajesh Shukla from YouTube. Yeah.
I don't, I'm one person who doesn't believe in the word nepotism. Because understand one thing. When anything which is defined by public, right? Anything which is defined by public, what are they? They could be Bollywood, they could be politics, and that could be cricket, right? I mean, I'm just taking 3 examples. Anything which is defined by the public, the success and failure is defined by the people. Nepotism can work for once or twice. So if Sachin Tendulkar's son doesn't perform in 4 matches straight, he will be thrown out. So a politician, now Rajiv Gandhi's son is, now Congress party is totally a different case. It is not a case of nepotism. It is a case of private limited company, right? So the ownership changed from father to son. If you don't perform, now Pramod Mahajan's son also ventured into politics, was a case of nepotism, but he was a disaster. But his daughter became successful. So I don't believe that nepotism is the right word to address all these things, especially on the areas or fields which are defined by, where the success is defined by the people. Now, I'm an engineer. I never want my son to be an engineer. In fact, I never told him what to be. Watching me, learning from me, watching my work, sometime he picked up. Uh, he wanted to be an astrophysicist. He started from astronomy. He want to be astronaut. Then he want to be an astrophysicist. So by the time he completes his a couple of grades, a couple of years in school, he finally decided, no, I want to be a data scientist. Now I never told him to be a data scientist. So in family these things come up now, and if a person is an advocate, he's a lawyer, you will live in an environment which is where you discuss the law all the time, where you discuss the court all the time. So naturally your interest would come up in the law business. So there is nothing wrong in talking about the son following the father's line. But when you are in a public service, when you are in a public domain, your success, you may choose, that is your right to choose. But your success is defined by the people.
Sure, sir. So this question is coming from Mr. Pankaj again from YouTube. How is technology impacting environment? Is there anything specific that countries like India should be doing to prevent technology impacting our environment?
Well, the best example is the Corona period. Everybody was working from home. There was no vehicular movement. There was no international flights, domestic flights. The ozone layer, the ozone hole got healed up in 3 months' time. The air was more clean. The plants and trees around my where I live was absolutely green. There was no dust. So the coming up of technology will definitely help the environment. But and as we move forward, uh, the we are talking about electric vehicles right now, and I my views are slightly different. I think electric vehicles are only a stop gap solution. It is not ultimate solution. It can never be ultimate solution unless and until the recharging of batteries can be done in less than 5 minutes. So this is not a long term solution. The long term solution or the technological solution would be fuel cell, where you can drive your vehicle with hydrogen, hydrogen oxygen, emitting only the water, pure water. So as the world, I, I don't worry about environment too much, to be honest. Environment and climate change are the biggest scam on this planet for political purposes. If you have to pull down a country which is going to be your future competitor, the best is put it some climate change regulation or things on it, stop its growth. So that is the way it needs to be done. Similarly, once the fossil fuel is over, the only formidable solution is the wind power or the solar power. But the ultimate endless solution, what we have today, resources, is the hydrogen. So the fuel cell technology is what I am looking forward to as a very promising from all the field. Rest every technology has got a side effect to the environment. Even the solar, even the wind, even the nuclear, they all have a side effect. The only formidable solution, the only beneficial solution where you take zero from nature and give best to the nature is hydrogen technology.
Sure, sir. And last question for today. When you think India will be able to have its own stable server system equivalent to AWS, which can make India self-reliant in terms of data management?
You know what? I mean, let me be very blunt. Uh, uh, in my last 28 years of my career, I have worked with all the top companies at very senior position, be it IBM's, Accenture's, Satyam's, and all the HP and Hewlett Packard, Compaq, and all these companies. India still is, we have a lot of good companies in India, like Infosys, HCL, Wipros of the world, and Tech Mahindras of the world. But at the end of the day, I just ask one question. What do they have patent for just one product which is originally developed from scratch? The answer is none. Because we have created tech coolies. We are more interested in $60 per hour timesheet, right? Which makes us faster return, which I can show, because success of the SCLs, the Infosys, the Tech Mahindras of the world is the stock exchange. The stock exchange understand only money. Now, $60 an hour, you are giving absolutely good return to your shareholders. Everybody is happy. But can we define ourselves as the tech companies? No. When you talk about AWS, which Indian company is ready to put $5 billion to create a server farm in India? Point number one, none. Do we have the legislation to protect the server farm from political interference? You know what I mean by take down this website, take down this account, stop him, slow him. Can we do that? Do we have tier 4 data centers in India? So there are many factors which are very important when we talk about servers in India. I mean, many social media platforms claim to be uh, Indian platform developed in India. They are all false. This is false information. If you see about, somebody told me there is a Sandesh app which has been developed by the government of India. Now, Sandesh app is based on the API from Telegram. Now, when you are using an API for Telegram, can you call it an Indian app? It is hosted on AWS. So when you host it on AWS, you host on AWS for one reason, the credibility that your site would be 99.99999% up. And you will have a backup and security and everything and hack proof and cyber threat proof and whatever. Which data center in India will give me that? As of today, none. And at that cost, none. Second, when I host it on AWS, the US Patriot Law says that anything which is hosted in US, which is passing through US, the US agencies have the right to snoop on it. Now, Sandesh, when you are using the Telegram API and you are using a backend as AWS, are you an Indian? When Koo says that we are an Indian app, but their original domain was registered by Chinese, and they are still, the Chinese still hold 9% or 8% stake in it, and it is still hold its backup server and name server as on AWS. Is it an Indian app? So where is the Indian app? There is another app called like Twitter. There is another app called Tutor, right? Now, Tutor I like for one reason, it is very fast. The loading of pictures and publication is very, very fast and it is brilliant. But it is built on Gap. The Gap which I use, GAB, the Gap which I used, it has used the Gap API to develop Twitter? Who has used some other APIs, AWS as a server, and Chinese as a partners to develop Ku? The Sandesh app is developed on the Telegram API. So nobody in India want to invest originally in all those things. For one simple reason, our mentality is we don't have patience for 5 years, 10 years incubation period. We want results tomorrow. We want returns tomorrow. And that never happens. So we land up choosing the shortest path to develop something. And when we choose the shortest path, we compromise many things. So please don't call. And for me, as an individual, as a techie person, I will trust Gap more than Coup. Because in India, even a minister can pick up a phone, or forget minister, an IT cell guy can pick up a phone and call Coup and say, suspend Gaurav Pradhan, we don't like him because he's talking too much against government. Who will suspend? Because they have to live in India, otherwise the cases would be filed on them in some other charges. Can they do it on Gap? They can't do it on Gap. Can they do it on Telegram? They cannot do it on Telegram. So where is my trust? Where is my assurance of security? It is with Gap and Telegram. This is one of the reasons why I tell people the best platform to come is Gap and Telegram and not Coup or something else. So there are multiple factors to talk about, and over a period of time, it will. I hope it will solve. But India has to evolve a lot as of now if they really want to be a tech giant. Just calling Bangalore a Silicon Valley, I think a Silicon Valley of tech police is more appropriate than calling, because innovation is not there.
Sure, sir. Questions are not stopping, and but I want to assure all our viewers that it is such an enlightening session that we'll love to have Dr. Pradhan again back with us, and have another session, because listening to you is bliss. The information you are giving, the knowledge you are sharing is very.
Just one sec, Abhi. Somebody asked about Geo. He just said Geo. My friend, Geo is a good platform. It is an Indian platform, but never understand. Please understand one thing. Mukesh Ambani is a businessman. Mukesh Ambani has picked up a stake in Facebook, and he will pick up a stake in other platforms also and other technologies also. He will give you a platform which would be in India, but when you talk about technology, please don't become emotional with Indian or American or Russian or something. The only thing we need to remember is we need to keep out China. So anything which has connection to China, just keep out. Rest everything, every other country is governed by a law, governed by their parliaments and legislative governments. We need to trust them. So technology, whether it is a platform which you use, which is hosted in America, is perfectly fine. I can tell you I can assure you one thing. When you talk about Indian all the time, I tell you, out of 100 top websites of national interest, I'm not talking about business website. 100 top websites of national interest are hosted on AWS and not on Indian server. So it is, what I always teach people is there is two ways to run your life. Either be emotional or with emotion. Emotional means a soldier dies on the border. We start beating the chest, abusing our prime minister, abusing the forces, abusing everyone because a soldier has died. With emotional means, yes, the soldier has died. It is a pain for me. It is a pain. I bear the pain for the family. I'll help the family whatever best we can. The government should help. But in war, a soldier either win or he dies. Army is not equal opportunity employer. Okay, I'm done.
Golden words, golden words. And I like to conclude. So Thanks, Dr. Pradhan, for enlightening us and our global audience with your views on what future holds for India when it comes to tech and social media giants. On behalf of Reach Bharat Parivar, many thanks for giving us time from your busy schedule. Reach India will continue to bring exceptional achievers like Dr. Pradhan in future webinars who are inspiration for the nationalist Indians. Many thanks to all our viewers for today's webinar. Thanks again, Dr. Pradhan. Dhanyavad.